What's up, guys? SMH Super Mario Hoops back with some more hoops. So today we're doing the power forward tiers. We've already done point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. And that's enough waiting around. Let's just get right into it. So the first tier is going to consist of one player who is really the only player on here that's, I believe, won multiple Finals MVPs, and that is Tim Duncan. Shouldn't really be too much to say about that. I mean, he's won multiple regular season MVPs as well, and was really the catalyst, along with obviously the coach Greg Popovich, in leading those teams to success. Tier 2, we got 4 players. We got Dirk Nowitzki, who led his team to a championship in 2011 and made multiple All-Star teams, I believe 13 to be exact. Next up, we got Karl Malone, who could lead his team to the finals multiple times, but just always came up short. And even when he was playing more of a role player position in 2004 with the Lakers, he still couldn't win a title there. So it's unfortunate for him, but he's second all-time in points. So he's tier 2. Tier 2 as well, we got Kevin Garnett, who won MVP with the Timberwolves in 2004, gave them their most playoff success ever, but unfortunately couldn't really lead them to a title. But he did win one in more of a secondary kind of role with the Boston Celtics in 2008, where he also won Defensive Player of the Year. And lastly, on tier 2, we got Charles Barkley, who was MVP in 1993 and went to the finals with the Suns. He also was putting up crazy numbers with the Sixers before that, but unfortunately he could never win a title either. Now moving on to tier 3, we got Kevin McHale, and the thing about Kevin McHale is that he was kind of a second option for most of his career, so it's kind of unfortunate. He's kind of behind some of these other guys above him, because everyone else above him was a first option for most of their career, except Kevin Garnett, I guess, later. But so for Kevin McHale, but he was part of that Celtics team that won championships in multiple years. So with like Larry Bird and Robert Parrish on the team, so that warrants him a tier 3 spot. Also, Bob Pettit's tier 3, who led the Hawks to their only title back in like 1958. And he could get you like 25 and 10 a game. Now I know that's pretty early, about like late 50s, early 60s is basically when he played, but he was also an MVP, and yeah, so I think he deserves to be tier 3. Also, we got Elvin Hayes, who was on those Bullets teams that were pretty solid late in the 70s. He also was animal statistically with the Rockets, so that's why I got him at tier 3 at the 3rd spot. Next, we got Bob McAdoo, who won he might have won a championship as like a role player, but he won an MVP with the Buffalo Braves in 1975. The Buffalo Braves are like the LA Clippers, like the same franchise, and he led them to the furthest that the Braves had ever been at that time. So then the next two we got are some of the more recent players. First off, we got Chris Bosh. He's a 10-time All-Star. He won 2 titles with the Heat, and he basically had nothing around him for his Toronto days, but he still brought him to the playoffs. As for Anthony Davis, he hasn't really brought his team to the playoffs too much, outside of twice. He's won a combined 1 playoff series in 7 years, which isn't too great, but the dude can shoot, he can like defend, he's pretty good. He can kind of handle the ball as well, because if some of you remember, he actually had a crazy growth spurt in high school, so he was originally a point guard. So yeah, he's got all that going for him. If he has some success, I could see him being tier 2. by the end of it. But unfortunately for him, he really hasn't. Moving on to tier 4, Dennis Rodman, who was just like, he really knew his role and couldn't really do much offensively, but he was a crazy defender, probably one of the best defenders ever, and also a crazy rebounder, probably the best rebounder ever. And then following him, we got Amar'e Stoudemire, who in his prime was playing almost about as good as a tier 3 player, but he also had some injuries when he was with the Knicks, which kind of hurt him after he had such a crazy first year with the Knicks, but he had injuries afterwards that kind of hurt him there. And even he had some in the middle of his time with the Suns. But yeah, so next, Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp was really good with the Sonics, but then once he had like gone to the Cavs and like the Magic later on, he was just nowhere close to the Shawn Kemp that was before. So that's why I got him tier 4. If the Sonics would have won in 1996 over the Bulls, he probably would have been the Finals MVP. So who knows? Next, we got Pau Gasol. He gave the Grizzlies their first glimpse of success of the franchise's history in like 2006, I believe. He was a multiple-time All-Star. He's been 6 to be exact with the Grizzlies, Lakers, and Bulls all together, and won 2 titles with the Lakers in 2009, 2010. Next, we got Chris Webber, who could have been the best player on a championship team if the Kings would have been able to win in 2002. And then also he was not bad when he was playing for the Bullets and also the 76ers. He was alright, but he's mainly known for his days with the Kings, and then unfortunately the year after, 2002, he got injured in the playoffs. So after Chris Webber, we got Rasheed Wallace, who is a champion. He was a beast with the Blazers back in the day. Almost brought them to their would have been their second championship, but their first championship in that kind of era, which would have been insane. The next 2 are current players. We got Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. Both can give you about 20 and 10 a game. Blake Griffin, I'd say, is a better passer, but both aren't really the greatest when it comes to the playoff success or even really showing up too much in the playoffs. And then the 2 after that, we got Jerry Lucas and Dolph Schayes. I'm sure most people know Jerry Lucas. He played for the Royals with Oscar Robertson, and he played for the Knicks along guys like Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. And he's won multiple titles too, and he could get you crazy numbers too. He averaged like, I believe, 20 and 20 many seasons. And Dolph Schayes could get you numbers as well, and he won titles in an earlier time. But I'm kind of doing the little era comparison where I'd say that the late 60s, early 70s was a tougher era than the 50s. Which, I mean, I'm not really a fan of doing that, but when it comes down to those 2 players, they're kind of similar. They kind of have to do that. And moving on to tier 5. First up on tier 5 is Draymond Green. Not really the greatest offensive player, similar to Dennis Rodman. I wouldn't even say, and he's not the same rebounder as Dennis Rodman either, but the thing that helps him is the fact that he can like pass as well, and he's a pretty good defender. So he's not really great at anything, but he's pretty solid at everything. Next is Kevin Love, who can basically, he was capable of almost breaking records with Minnesota back in the day, but he could never even get to the playoffs with them. He does have a championship with the Cavs, but overall, I think the fact is that his best years statistically are only going to come on a team that's not going to be producing many wins. Next up, Dave DeBusschere, also part of that Knicks 70s dynasty era. And he was pretty solid then. Actually, his best years came with the Pistons, though, before that. And he didn't really win anything with the Pistons, but kind of similar to Kevin Love, I guess. Next up, we got Larry Johnson, who was on the Hornets and the Knicks. Both were pretty solid teams. He made the finals with the Knicks, actually, in 1999. But, yeah, couldn't capture a title. So that's unfortunate for him. And, yeah, but he was a pretty solid player. I wouldn't say he was ever like a big-time player, but yeah, he was pretty well known at the time. And next we got Zach Randolph, who is basically a 20 and 10 guy. I believe he's had like 20 and 10 points per game about like 6 times in his career or so. So realistically, he could have been like a 6-time All-Star. It's kind of a shame he only made 2 All-Star teams. But yeah, he also probably gave the Grizzlies the most success they've ever had in a playoffs. And also led that crazy 8 seed team in 2011. And not to mention, he was a beast with the Blazers too. So, and lastly, we got Horace Grant, who's been on championship teams. He's played with the Bulls for championships in their three-peat, the first one, and he won one a little bit later, I believe in 2001 with the Lakers, and he even made the finals with the Magic in 1995. But yeah, he really couldn't really produce the most. I'd say guys like Kevin Love and Larry Johnson could produce more, and Zach Randolph could produce more on a serious threat team than Horace Grant could. But he's had plenty of success, so he warrants a spot on this list. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe and comment what you thought about it. If you did or didn't like the video, maybe like your own opinions or even some future ideas in the next coming weeks or so. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. So I'm out.